It's Wednesday, March the 19th. I didn't do a whole lot of fishing on Table Rock this past week. I was up at Lake of the Ozarks. But I did fish here Monday and Tuesday. Myself and a couple buddies, we went way up the White River and the Kings Monday and Tuesday trying to catch some walleye. And we put in at Holiday Island the first day, which was Monday. And water temperature up there, it was high 40s, 46, 47. And it got up to about 48, 49 degrees. But, walleye fishing was pretty slow. We messed around with that for 2 or 3 hours, and actually about half the day. And then I came back down to Holiday Island area back in Leatherwood, and we decided to see if we could catch some bass. We did catch, a couple walleye. We caught a trout, a couple smallmouth up there, way up the White. Not too far from the Beaver Dam. But anyways, when we came back down, Leatherwood had good color in it, good stain. Wind was blowing pretty good, and the water got up to about 51 degrees back in there where it was off-colored. And we caught several fish back in there on a little flat-sided crankbait and a spinnerbait. Get my spinnerbait out. The flat-sided, we was throwing a Little John, and we threw a jerkbait quite a little bit, and a Fritz flat-sided crankbait, but we didn't get any bites on the jerkbait or the jig back there, but we did catch them on a spinnerbait. It's a Spro, it's a thumper blade. The water had just enough color back in there where a lot of times in the spring, that little orange kicker blade, and all the fish back in there were related to wood, laydowns out in the middle. And we got bit back in there where, we went back in there, there was about 5 or 6 foot of water left. That's where the warmest water was. And we could catch one fish off of just about every laydown or piece of wood. Some of them were small fish, there was some white bass. But we also had some in the 3-pound range back there. Then as we worked out a little bit, we started where it was a little bit deeper water, where we had about 10, 12 foot. We could parallel the little channel swings with a rock crawler and a little jig and catch them. So next day, we decided to go way up the Kings. We took the jet boats, went up as far as we could till we couldn't go any further up the Kings. We caught a couple smallmouth. We were mainly looking for walleye, but we couldn't find them. So about halfway through the day, about 11 o'clock or so, we moved back down lake around the 86th bridge there in the Kings and started bass fishing again. First fish I caught was about a 3.5 pounder on a red rock crawler. And then my buddy started pitching a jig. We was fishing, little channel swings. And he was throwing a little brown, about a 5/16 ounce jig. And he caught one off the rock on a channel swing and then one off a laydown right before it went into a pocket. So I kept throwing a crankbait, he kept catching them on a jig. So then I swapped over to it's a little 3/8 ounce Missiles Ike mini flip jig. It's a good little jig, comes through the rock real well with a Strike King Baby Rach craw for a trailer. And we continued that throughout the day. It seemed like if you could find a little pocket, not a big creek, just more of a gut or a cut in a bluff, they were on the first 100 feet before you got to the pocket, or all the way back in the little pocket to where you just about ran out of water. But the key was you had to look for the bigger rock transitions, where it went from bigger rock to smaller rock, and that's usually where that channel came in a little tighter to the bank. Most of the time in them little pockets, we were only setting in, 10, 12 feet of water, pitching the jig right up to the bank. Seemed like when we got out to the mouths of the pockets where it was a little deeper, pick up the crankbait, the rock crawler, and that seemed to work a little bit better for us. What was a lot of fun about doing that, we had the jet boat, no electronics on it at all, so it was kind of fun. It was like fishing the way we used to fish. You just kind of look down the bank and look at what looks good and fish it. But I know in the Joe Bass they had this weekend, the weights are still incredible. I think it took 18 pounds just to get a check. It's still taking you know, top 2 or 3 places still taking 20 plus pounds to win. A lot of big fish coming in. I think a lot of fish still being caught on brush piles, on Alabama rigs. And I'm sure there's a lot of fish being caught on, you know, Damiki rigs, swimming a minnow out there over that deep water, where the water's kind of stayed the same temperature for the last week or so. A lot of them fish really aren't, you know, moving to the bank yet. It's the middle of March. It's going to have to warm up a little bit more. But I am finding if I'm in stained water, in the river arms, even in the backs of some of the creeks, that you can get a shallow bite. I just cannot catch the quality that I think some of the guys are catching on the A-rig. But we're catching more and more fish back there. You got to catch several short fish to catch a keeper. But it depends, you know, what your style of fishing is. If you like to throw a crankbait, spinnerbait, and a jig, that's just going to get better and better. You know, if you like to live scope, there's a lot of fish out there in the middle of nowhere. So, you know, the fishing's going to continue to get, it's been really good all winter, but as far as the fish moving in shallower, that's going to get better and better as the water temperature warms up and we get closer to the spawn. So, till next week, good luck, good fishing.